Ladies, gentlemen, and bowlers from all walks of life, my name is Don Agent, and welcome to the Kegel Show. I'll be your host for this week's episode, and it is very good to see a good friend of mine, Nate Garcia, PBA player, 2013-2014 Weber bowler, 2 national championships. Just a fine young man in general, and thank you so much for coming down.
Well, thank you for having me, sir.
Being on the show, we don't get to see each other that often anymore, unfortunately.
I know.
You've been traveling quite a bit, which we'll get into.
Yep.
Nate, in 2017, you graduated Weber with a degree in sports business management. You were on regional tour, and then in 18, you immediately went full throttle.
Yes, sir.
You know, dove right into PBA Tour and full time. Correct?
Yes, sir. It's
Are you having fun?
Oh man, it's a dream. It's a dream come true, and I have you to thank for that, because you were one of my first sponsors that gave me a chance and believed in me. But I'm having such a good time. It's definitely a big learning curve for me. The regional and national tour are very, very different. I mean, when you have literally the best in the world, they all know how to play a pattern. They all know how to do the right thing. You just have to keep up with them, because they're not going to miss, and they're not going to miss transition at all. And it's been a learning curve, but I'm enjoying every minute of it.
Anybody I ever talked to is out there those first 1 or 2 years, they'll all tell you, couch, everybody will tell you, it's a learning curve.
Oh yeah,
it's a struggle,
it definitely
get everything in line, and whether it's travel, doing laundry, or just bowling in general.
Yeah, it's definitely not just the bowling thing. You have to find people to room with. You got to find how much you're spending here and there every week. So it's not just showing up to a tournament and going to bowl. There's a lot of planning that goes with it. So it can add stress to it, but it's all about how you manage it.
Very cool. How old were you when you got into this, and I mean, why? What was the reason?
Well, a funny story is 2 years old. I remember being in like a little playpen at Don Carter's down in Miami, and my parents bowled league. It was either Friday or something like that, and they just put me on a lane and I threw the ball down. And once I got older, I really did. That wasn't my first choice. I did play baseball and basketball, but something about throwing pins around just kind of stuck with me a little bit, and I just fell in love with it. And I think I really started taking it serious when I was about 12 years old. And then it just literally, and here I am today talking to you. So. Do your parents bowl? Yes, they do. They bowl league on like Friday nights with the family. It's like my mom, my dad, my brother, everybody just gets together on a Friday night and goes and bowls and has some fun. So I join them every once in a while, but when, tour allows me to. Other than that, I'm traveling everywhere, and it's like, this is what I dreamed of doing. You were born in a very unique time, because for those of us, or those that may be watching this show, you mentioned that they brought you in at 2 years old. Well, back then they had daycares and the bowling centers, and they had nurseries, and you didn't have this liability. So, in the centers I grew up in, and even was a head mechanic and going down the road, I mean, there'd be 20, 30 kids. Oh, absolutely.
In there, and it was a very safe and cool environment.
Yeah.
You touched a little bit about on national and regional. For you, how is it right now bowling on national tour versus regional, and what about it do you think is the most different? I really think that the transition happens a lot faster. For me on the regional tour, well, in any region, I feel like I'm usually one of the people that is farther left, and I can still I still have room to play with. Okay. On the national tour, you have the two-handers, you have the high rev rate guys like EJ, Belmo, Kyle Troop. They're all just wheeling it, and it's harder for me because I don't have a 500 rev rate. I'm around like 420-ish, and it forces me a little bit farther left is where I struggle. But on the regional tour, where I have a little bit more room, like I can get into 20 or 25, I still have the front part of the lane, which is not as beat up as much, and I can get my ball through it, and it's able to continue to still have that motion where I'm comfortable, like playing right. My ball's still doing the right thing. On the national tour, it happens a little bit faster, and the fronts get beat up a lot more. And we're also bowling on a different oil. Like the Brunswick machine is out there, so
I believe it goes only forward. It doesn't go backwards. When it distributes oil. So that also has to be taken into account of what your bowling ball is doing. So it's like bowling on a completely different thing. Whether it's the people you're bowling with or the oil, you still have to figure out a way to do it. So luckily, I've been blessed with working and training here at the Kegel Training Center for 7 years. So I know what the Kegel machine does.
A little bit of an advantage.
Yeah, I know what the Kegel machine does, and I know the characteristics of it. But it's all right. This is after the next year. It's going to be my 3rd year, so whatever tournaments I'm able to bowl, I feel like I'll have a better season because I've had 2 years to understand what the Brunswick machine does and what the players do. And even this summer, when I bowled the summer swing, I was very close in 2 events. Okay. It's just that those last 3 games is where I lost the picture a little bit, like I said, where I was following transition and I had to get a little bit farther left, or I had to trick my hand and do something farther right. So I feel like I've established what I needed to do and what I'm going to do the next season.
Sounds like your comfort zone just narrowed a little bit more on national tour than it did on regional, and that'll get, once again, that's kind of the trials and tribulations of that first 1 and 2 years out there.
Exactly.
That'll get back to that wider comfort zone that you were used to playing with on catch and transition
right.
regionals. Who do you travel with? And speaking of roommates, who do you room with when you're out? I hear he's a pretty good player.
Well, my first full-time, actually we've been rooming for about 2 years now. Kyle Troop, he's been one of my good friends, and it's always been a good time rooming with him.
Pretty good bowler.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't know him that well. We know each other or who each other are, but I knew his father. And
in this past summer swing, I was rooming with Chris Prather.
Yeah.
So I always have a great group of guys around me, and I learn from them, and they've been really nice, and they've helped me when I've needed it. So it's really cool to have those guys in your corner. 2
good personalities to be surrounded around. Now, you've actually got a list of questions on your sheet, but I got one on mine that I didn't print on yours. So, your girlfriend competes.
Yes.
Who's better? Oh, yeah.
I knew he was going to put me on the spot.
No, I'm not gonna throw it in there, but she competes, Elise, and she's with us right here actually watching this show. On the PWBA Tour currently.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about her and kind of, what you guys do together as well, because I know you practice and do some other things also.
Well, touching base on her tour this year, she didn't have the tour that she wanted to, but to start off the season, she won her very first regional title.
Excellent.
And that guaranteed her to get on the show that aired this past week on CBS Sports, and she bowled well and finished 3rd. So that was her goal going into the season, was if she did nothing else, it was to make the regional showdown. Fantastic. And to win one. So she accomplished her goals, which is awesome, and I'm proud of her because she likes to stump me all the time. She likes to always have one up on me, and I don't mind that. So. But other than that, she's a full-time coach. In Indianapolis, she was a full-time coach, and now we're back in Florida for a little bit. So we're always willing to help. That's me. That's like what me and her strive for. Is like we've been given all this knowledge. We've trained here. We've trained with the best coaches in the world, and we just want to give back, and we want to teach people what we know and just give back to the sport.
Do you have an opportunity to ever catch any doubles gigs or?
Oh, absolutely.
I wondered about that.
Absolutely.
I didn't know how many were out anymore.
Well, actually, it was kind of funny. We were on her tour, and we were in California, and she didn't bowl well at one event, and I say, hey, well, there's this doubles tournament if you want to bowl. It's like, right down the road, and she's like, no, I don't want to bowl. Ask somebody. So I'm asking her around, and it comes to like the next morning. It's like 2 hours before we go. And I'm like, do you want to go to this? Like, it would be fun. She's like, all right, let's go. I shoot 800 and she shoots 770, and we win the tournament by like 120.
Nice job.
Yeah, it was like out of 120 teams or something like that. So it was really, really cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. So that was kind of like one of the highlights on her tour. And we absolutely bowl doubles all the time. There's a member, non-member that we've bowled in the past 2 years at Tavares and Breakpoint that we bowled together, and that's actually how we met. Is about like, well, let's say be 4 years now. I met her at a regional, and I said, hey, do you want to bowl this doubles tournament together? Like, we were just friends, and I'm like, do you want to bowl this doubles tournament together? And she's like, yes. And I'm like, wow, like, because
Too cool.
I know who she is, and she's very established in my. I didn't think you'd say yes to me, so and that's kind of like how we started dating.
Well, give yourself some credit, man. I've watched you bowl for a long time. I'd like to think I don't put money behind people that cannot throw a bowling ball.
Yeah,
So,
I appreciate
good
that.
for both of y'all. What's in your sights, you think, for the next 5 years, man?
Next 5 years, I'm definitely winning one title, at least one title. I want to win one title. I want to make a TV show or several TV shows, and I'm working just as hard as anybody to do it. Other than that, it's just making as many cuts as possible, shows and titles, and this is why I'm here. I love the sport of bowling, and I just love what I do.
Now, you've obviously got a degree in sports business management.
Yes.
Let's say that bowling didn't work out, not because you weren't good enough, just injury, anything could happen.
Totally.
Do you think you'd utilize that to stay within the sport, or would you see yourself still in bowling, making a living, or do you have other things that you would like to do?
Well, I would absolutely love to have a position in the bowling industry. Obviously, here at Kegel, I would love to come back if that opportunity presents itself, because I love this place. Other than that, I would. It's kind of hard because I just love bowling so much. I would love to do it.
Can't even think about it not existing.
I really can't.
That's
yeah,
a fair answer, man.
I mean, coaching or just doing something to help, whatever presents itself within the bowling industry, and if it's something that I can do and give my 100% to, I'd absolutely love to do it.
All right, let's go to that. You're making a TV show.
Sure.
I want you to give me your dream lineup you're competing against.
Dream
on that
lineup?
show.
I think me and Kyle Troop would put on a show, because I love to get into it, and just like you've seen his energy on TV.
He's got
It's
great
it's
energy.
it's great. So I think if we got back and forth, like, I mean, it's all in good fun,
Sure.
it's all in good fun, but I think we would have like one of the best shows ever, just because we would give the crowd what they wanted, we would get into it, and I think it would come down in the 10th frame.
I can say I enjoy watching him and Jesper bowl as well.
Oh, yeah.
I know they're pretty good friends, and that's always good to watch them. If you could travel anywhere in the world to bowl, where would it be, and is there a specific event?
Well, I've never been there, but at Dream Bowl, the Brunswick
Munich.
Euro Challenge,
Munich,
I would
yes.
love to bowl that. That bowling center looks absolutely amazing.
Good friends of ours own that.
Yeah,
the
I would absolutely
Kegel
love to
family.
go there.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful facility. I've been there numerous times. Absolutely gorgeous. And
Yeah, I would love to
believe
travel
it's the
overseas.
largest bowling center in Europe.
Is it really?
Yeah, I believe it is.
Wow.
In all of Europe.
I would absolutely love to go there. It's like it just looks huge,
And
it's
that center, when Warner and his family built that, and hello to everybody at the Knobles if you're watching this, when they had built that, that was the number one goal. It was not built to be a bowling center. It was built to be the premier tournament bowling venue in Europe, essentially. And that was, kind of the bar that he set.
Right.
And they have a lot of tournaments there.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, he had hoped at one point in time to really draw like everything. So he still does operate as a regular bowling center when he's not having tournaments. But no, that'd be a great place. You'd love Munich too.
Absolutely.
Munic's a beautiful, beautiful area. It really is. Final question.
Yes, sir.
Always enjoy this, especially you're a lot younger than I am. Being young,
Only a couple
kind
years.
and kind of your journey through here. What are some advice you'd give to some of the up and coming kids that are looking at going, wow, this is, you went to college, you're on tour, your girlfriend's the same thing, what would you say to inspire them, you think?
If they're really serious about continuing to, get their careers going in the right way, the college program is one way to go. Whether it's Weber International, and you have plenty of other good colleges like McKendree, Lindenwood, you name it. Take advantage of those programs. Obviously, get your degree, and then if the school allows bowling, go for it. And college bowling is a great stepping stone to go into the professionals or regional tour, because it just teaches you, we have to get very far left, we got to trick our hands and do right, we got to do a bunch of different things. So other than that, never give up. I was definitely, when I came here, I was nobody. I just started out, some kid that's like, I go to college and there's a bowling center. I knew nothing about college bowling. But once I started, I wanted to travel. I wanted to, bowl on the biggest stages in college. And I worked every single day as hard as I could to make sure that by senior year, I either won a national championship or got on a TV show or did something in the significance of college bowling. And it just consumed me. I never gave up. There was a lot of people that doubted me. And I just used that for motivation. I didn't let anybody beat me up. I didn't let anybody say, you can't do this, you can't do that. And I went out and I did it. So never give up is my advice.
I think that's very sound advice. I always enjoy watching you bowl and still do, obviously.
I appreciate that.
And you actually had a whole nother layer of practice because you were what we classified internally as one of our throwbots.
Yes.
You were bowling every single day.
Every single day.
College,
minimum 200 shots a day.
On our lane conditioners
Yes,
to make
sir.
sure that they would quality control properly before
Yes.
we send out the customers. Well, young man, it is a pleasure as always, and I think we're going to grab some lunch after this.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I really appreciate you having me on here, sir.
Oh, I was just thrilled when you gave me a buzz, and it's good to see you back.
It's
in
good to
town.
see you
And,
too, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap. Keep those wrenches turning. Have a wonderful day.